Yeah, so from here on out, my threshold for willing to get beat up in the mornings has gone way down. So from here on out, we're still gonna accept random off-tier decks every once in a while, but I'm gonna have the requirement that unless they're coming with a giant pile of money, like $100 plus, I'm going to require that they have put up some kind of result at something at least the size of a classic. So I'm not going to be doing any more completely untested, completely unproven brews on here. Just modern, it just feels to me like it's gotten to a point where it's just so fast and brutal that playing those decks just isn't rewarding. You just get slaughtered so often online. So we're going to be sticking to some of the more tried and true things. Doesn't mean we can't play interesting things like, Amulet Titan's one of the better decks in the format. But from here on out, we're going to have a little bit more of a competitive tier 1, 1.5, tier 2 slant rather than the random unplayable nonsense that we've kind of been known for. Because I think that was a big part of like what soured me on the format, is getting beat up with those decks and just losing slews of tickets constantly. It's just not a good time. Morning, Python, Trax, SD. How we doing, folks? As for this deck list, so I believe... And don't quote me on this. Aces! Checking in for the 17th month. Welcome back. A6. Thanks for the 6 months. I appreciate the half a year. Thanks for keeping me around. Anywho, I believe this is a list from Daryl Ayers. I think, asterisk. I'm pretty sure, not 100%. The big innovation or change in this specific deck list that is different from previous Amulet Titan deck lists that I haven't played before is there are 3 copies of Coalition Relic, which is interesting. It looks like these have kind of taken the Explore slot. There's no 2-mana spells in this build, so notably you can play this on 3, put a charge counter on it, and then on turn 4, it makes 2 extra mana, so that means this enables turn 4 Primeval Titans, which seems reasonable, so let's go ahead and dive in. Just play Pod Mom all the time? Yeah, we'll see. Pod Mom's definitely going to be my filler. I think there's a chance that... Well, I don't even know. Like, so, the modern queue is smaller than it's ever been at the moment, and I think it still has, like, almost 20 decks waiting to be played, or 20 decks. It goes from 28 to almost 20 decks waiting to be played. So, at 5 decks a week, I'm still about a month out. So, if the submissions playing mostly real or decks that have some kind of pedigree requirement slows the modern queue, submissions will probably fit in some more. Fan of Fear. This hand seems fine. Am I accepting fair modern decks again? I'm accepting good modern decks. So if it's that was kind of always the condition. I'm not accepting random things that contain, like, Leonin Arbiter. Is Abzan Angels the shiny tribal? It is. The Abzan Angels deck is 100% foil. We're going to prove that Magic the Gathering is pay to win with empirical evidence with our fully foil deck later today. Risen Saga, thanks for the 2-on-3 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, Black Green Rock's fine. Alright, so... I was going to say this hand needs a Titan, but it technically has a Titan in Tolaria West. It's just a really slow Titan. No, those decks aren't good. So the description I just gave is they need to be putting up results in major tournaments. And those decks don't do that. Yeah, I think I want to just pick the Gemstone Mine back up so I have an untapped land for next turn. Just going to go ahead and pass for now. Multiple results or one result? Depending on how interesting it looks, I might give you one result, depending on how recent it is. It depends. Everything's subjective. As always, if you have a question of, will you play this? The best way to get an answer to that question is submit it through the form on my website so I can stay organized and give you a reasonable response. No, I think the new... People talking about the new edict in Jund/Rock. I don't know what format they've been playing, but it's not the same modern format I've been playing. I'm not even 100% sure I want 4 copies of Liliana the Veil in Green-Black Rock, much less want more edicts past that. Alright, that's an Amulet of Vigor. That means I get to make lots of copious amounts of mana here. So, what am I doing? So I can Amulet, and then I can Growth Chamber for 2 mana. I can cast Relic, and then I can Growth Chamber again for 2 more mana. That gives me 6 total, so I can Relic plus transmute the Tolaria West here. They're nowhere near dead. If I had a Titan in my hand already, I could Titan them this turn. But because I don't have a Summoner's Pact or a Titan, I have to Tolaria West for it. They have a second. So we stack this. So the untap trigger happens. And again, basically, if you're the rule of thumb is going to be if you are submitting something that is not an established tier 1 deck for Modern, you need to be providing me with context link of this did well at this tournament over here. Is basically what I'm going to be looking for. So if you can't give me that context, I'm probably not interested in playing what you're submitting. So again, still willing to play things that could be construed as brews, but they need to have some backing behind them. Because MTGO doesn't give us the flexibility to be able to edit decks in between matches like I have on Magic Arena, I just like playing decks that are completely untuned and like mediocre is not a good place to be. Risen Saga coming in hot with the big biddies. Good morning to you. Happy Thursday. Morning, Gindy. Alright, so next turn, I get to attack them with a Titan and Ghost Quarter them, so that's nice. Beep, beep. Thanks for the 2 months. Hope you're having a fantastic Thursday, Gindy. What month is this for me? Thank you for the 9th month, Emperor Godrun. Emperor 1. Thanks for keeping me around. I appreciate you poking in from the YouTube. So how this is gonna work is we're gonna go ahead and get a Primeval Titan. And then because we have the namesake of our deck, Amulet of Vigor in play here, Primeval Titan is gonna get the lands that it finds into play untapped. And the initial 2 lands that our Primeval Titan is going to get are Boros Garrison plus Slayers Stronghold. And that gives us red-white mana plus the ability to give our Primeval Titan haste. The thing that's important to note about Amulet Titan is even though we're going off this turn, I only have the ability to deal 16 with this Primeval Titan, which means that it's not enough to kill my opponent this turn. That being said, because they're playing Tron, I have a Ghost Quarter in my main deck, so I'm going to have the ability to disrupt them this turn. So rather than hit them for 16 and not have it be lethal, instead I'm going to hit them for 8 and get a Ghost Quarter and Ghost Quarter them off one of their Tron pieces. So in order to kill your opponent on the turn of your combo, you either need to have multiple Titans, which generally requires multiple amulets in order to be able to do, because it requires huge amounts of mana, or your opponent has to have done some damage to themselves already. So I'm going to grab Tolaria West plus a Ghost Quarter. So I have to pay for my Summoner's Pact next turn. No, so the way Vesuva works is you can't Vesuva copy the other lands you're getting with Vesuva, because they enter the battlefield simultaneously. So if you get Vesuva and Ghost Quarter at the same time, Vesuva cannot copy Ghost Quarter. This is the way the rules of Magic the Gathering work. So I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to transmute this Tolaria West. I'm going to go get a Pact of Negation just in case something goes sideways. So I have to pay 4. I have to pay 4 for my Summoner's Pact next turn, but I can also still pay 5 for Pact of Negation as well. Just in case they have something funky. And this is one of the this is one of the reasons why this deck is so good. So, from an explosive combo deck perspective, Amulet Titan actually isn't a super great explosive combo deck. What this deck is good at is its ability to be resilient through disruption. So your first Primeval Titan gets a Tolaria West, which turns into a Summoner's Pact, which turns into another Primeval Titan. You basically play Squadron Titans in this deck. Ramunap Excavator is probably good for Ghost Quartering them repeatedly. I don't know if this is a Negate matchup or not. I can also see Primal Command being okay, because it puts a Tron piece back on top of their deck, but this could also just be too slow. This is definitely not a Hornet Queen matchup. It's probably not a Walking Ballista matchup either. I think I just want these. Your tools are lands and Primeval Titan. And you've got like a green creature toolbox package to a degree. And the thing that's most interesting about this archetype is that, what's the word? The thing that's most interesting about this archetype is that your toolboxes all kind of integrate into each other, right? So like your Tolaria West turn into Summoner's Pact, and your Primeval Titan triggers turn into Tolaria West. So like all of your packages are kind of intermingled with each other and find each other. I don't think this is a Reclamation Sage matchup. No, Ballista is just another win con. So, Ballista has a converted mana cost of 0 while it's in your deck. So, it's a threat that you can transmute Tolaria West for. And this deck, you can see we have 28 lands down the left side of the screen. So, like, this deck just has lots of mana. So, you can often just, like, cast really large Walking Ballistas. Yeah, this hand seems great, right? Needs a Titan, but Tolaria West kinda turns into a Titan at some point. That is a phenomenal draw. So, Simic Growth Chamber or any bounce land with an amulet basically turns this into just a 2-mana ritual for your land drop. So next turn I can actually play Amulet, and then this makes 4 mana. If I wanted to. So they're going to have turn 3 Tron, believe it or not. So we'll see what they have to do from there. So I think my line here is Amulet of Vigor, play Tolaria West, use Tribe Elder to play a bounce land. The bounce land's going to bounce itself because I don't want them to be able to Karn my bounce land. And then this lets me play the Relic, and then the Relic taps for a green immediately to play the Tribe Scout. And then, depending on what they do next turn, I believe I can transmute and play a Titan, right? Yeah, because each of these represent 2 mana with the Amulet and the bounce land. So that means this is 2, 4, my land drop is 6, 7, 8, 9. So I can transmute, Pact, cast Titan. Let's see if we're getting Karned here or not. We are getting Karned, okay. So now this does slow me down. They take my Amulet off the table. I don't know that I really have any counterplay to this. I can, like, attack the Karn for 2, I guess. How do they afford turn 3 Karn? So the opponent's deck is what we call Tron in Modern. And if they have Urza's Tower, Urza's Mine, and Urza's Power Plant, these 2 lands each tap for 2, and this one taps for 3. Tron is one of the most offensive things about this format. It just operates on a completely different axis than anything else. I think we're just dead. Because, like, even if I get a Ghost Quarter to, like, break up what's going on over there, I just, like, don't have a good play. It is very insane. And their deck plays a bunch of cards that find lands out of their deck and that draw them extra cards. So I think the mathematics on the average Tron deck is they assemble Tron so close to 50% of the time on turn 3. And on turn 4, it's astronomical. Have I actually been here a year? You have, McCullough. Thanks for keeping me around, and thanks for the very generous tier 2 resub. Welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic Thursday. Have a sword to go with your shield. I think I just clicked submit. I think I'm happy with how I sideboarded and just want to, like, have a better draw on the play. This is what a lot of modern is this, so there are some small interactive elements, like I Ghost Quartered my opponent in the first game. We have these negates, but a lot of modern, especially with the good decks, you're kind of playing past each other, just like kind of hoping that like your dumb thing works before their dumb thing works. And you just like both sit in the corner and like raise your hand when you get there. A little Bappy, thank you for the 5-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And the Mind Slayer, thanks for cashing in your Bezo bucks this way again for the 2nd month. Thanks for keeping me around. I mean, I think these are hands you're supposed to keep with this deck. Maybe not. That's definitely, I think, the biggest strength between like an experienced Amulet Titan player and someone like myself who's like I've played probably dozens of matches with this deck at this point, maybe even into the triple digits over the years, but like the knowing what's the range of keepable and when we're supposed to send it back is definitely one of the harder things to know. Like what are the odds I get there? All right, so I think I just go land, relic, ancient stirrings. All right, and like this is, this is the tough part about playing this archetype. It's like, all right, well, I put a bunch of lands into play, but it's like, now I just need a Titan. And like, if I find a Titan, we'll be in a good spot. I was hoping to find, at the very least, like a Tolaria West or a Ghost Quarter or something here, but we just kind of got to hope we hit there or they don't get there. After my questions yesterday, I bought some Ghosts for Green Black Rock, ready to play some curvy magics. Get it? Get it, got it, good. When they were 200 each. I think they're like 45s, Brian. 45 sounds right. No, I think I need to get a couple more lands into play at this point. And they have turn 3 Tron again here. I talked about the probability of them hitting turn 3 Tron, and I gave approximate numbers, but like, the numbers I gave earlier were the in theory numbers. The numbers that you need to be aware of is that your opponent, when your opponent's playing Tron, they have Tron on turn 3 100% of the time. And when you're playing Tron, you never have Tron on turn 3. So those are the numbers in practice. The 40% I gave earlier, that was the theory numbers, like when you just crunch them. The in practice numbers are very different from the in theory numbers. At least the London Mulligan can't increase them past 100, right? And then, like, here's the issue, too, right? Like, they put a Wormcoil Engine into play here on turn 3, so it's like, can I even win anymore? Like, even if I draw a Titan at this point, like, am I actually... Even if I draw a Titan, I can't actually even really attack or do anything meaningful with it. I'm like, alright, there's my friend. Frenzy Affinity. Sounds good, McCullough. Will do. That only kills 2 Titans. We can Squadron into 4. That's fair. So, like, if they have nothing else, maybe we're okay. Alright, so this is 6 mana. I guess I get to Ghost Quarter them here. We play a land that gives our Titan unblockable? No, Rick, you are very misinformed. I did not board in Rec Sage. Huh. I wonder... So I don't have an amulet at this point, is the issue. I think I messed up. Yeah, I definitely messed up. If I'd have sequenced differently, I could have Ghost Quartered them this turn. Now I think I'm kind of committed to my attack them plan. So I kind of set myself up to attack them this turn, which I think is what's going to happen. Yeah, Sajiri Step also doesn't make it unblockable. So even if we played that card, we wouldn't have it at this point. It wouldn't do anything at this point. No, that is a Coalition Relic that we have in play. I'm going to grab Ghost Quarter here. And I think another Tolaria West. So if I grab another Tolaria West here, one of these Tolaria West can turn into an Engineered Explosives to clear out the Wormcoil tokens. And then the other one can turn into a Titan. So, and again, this all kind of depends on, like, what's their follow-up, right? So, like, we're just talking about, like, how do we beat this Wormcoil engine? Like, they could very easily go second tower, Ulamog us next turn. Oh, crap. I did set out the explosives, didn't I? Yep. Yep. Hey, do you have a nuke in the Spirit Dragon? I got bad news. I think we're dead, chat. I said Ulamog. Ugin is much better for us than Ulamog would be. Alright, how much mana do I have? I've got 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I can technically transmute. I can technically transmute for a Titan, cast Titan, give Titan haste attack. That's a legal play I can make. I can also Ghost Quarter them this turn because I have a land drop. That works, right? So I do this, and then yeah, okay. So I do this, transmute. And then I play this land, have 6, 7, and then I can still Ghost Quarter. I think that's the plan. I would be genuinely surprised. I guess I could technically get Excavator down the line here too. I would be willing to bet significant amounts of money that a big part of why, as someone who played Kiki Chord to many top 8s for many years, that a significant part of the reason why this deck does well is because most people have no idea what they're doing when they play against it. A lot of Magic is pattern recognition for people. And a lot of people are not great at adapting on the fly. Alright, so this is going to pick up a Tolaria West. I'm going to go ahead and give this haste. We're going to trade for this worm and smack their Ugin. So next turn I have to pay for a Pact, but that's fine. This is going to pick another Tolaria West up here. I probably should have boarded out this Bojuka Bog and still had an Engineered Explosives or something like that in my deck. I'm also not 100% convinced that these negates are worth having in. Yeah, Tron versus Tron, basically whoever gets Karn first wins the game. Because Karn just Stone Rains the other Tron player. So like, and this is again comes from my experience playing Kiki Chord, and this is why people always leave hateful messages on my modern videos, because I'm willing to say things like this. In my experience, my deck's hard to play is generally the battle cry of people who are playing decks that are bad. So like, if you look at like and again, like, don't get me wrong, if you love this deck, it's sweet. I've played a ton of it. You could definitely win matches of Magic with it. But I think the actual power level of this deck is probably a lot lower than a lot of the other accepted good decks in Modern. And part of the reason why it's accepted as hard to play is because it's not actually that good. When you look at like what this deck's fastest draws do versus like what other decks' fastest draws do, this one's just like kinda night and day. The biggest upside this deck has versus other combo decks is its resiliency. Like the fact that you just like chain Titans together is a big deal. I think we're dead here at this point. You are probably right. Taken care of. Restart Steam. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and concede here. We don't have any counterplay at this point. This can win on turn 2, right? Absolute nut draw with like 800 different things going right. I think so. No, it's not. It's not even turn 2 anymore, right? It's definitely turn 3. Coop Cram, you have a shield next to your name, so I'm surprised I have to give you this lecture. Talking about how competitive certain platforms or tournaments are is generally nonsense and people stroking themselves to feel good about the platform or put down other people on the platform that they're playing on. There is no objective measure for how competitive something is, especially in a game like Magic that has incredible amounts of variance built into it. So anything anyone is talking about, this is more competitive or less competitive, yada, 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 like that's just not constructive or specific or anything that you can do other than to put other people down or build yourself up. So it's like it's not really a good conversation to have. This hand wants some more lands, but other than that, it's pretty good. Actually, I guess I get to go Amulet into Bounce Land, Azusa, and then if they don't kill my Azusa, I can turn 3 Titan. Just gonna have to get you flowers. What's going on, Death Panda? Thanks for keeping me around. Welcome back. It's just another turn 3 Goldfisher that can be easily disrupted, avoids main board disruption a lot of time by being artifact / land based. Well, I'm part of the issue. This is one of my big problems with this archetype in general, is that you say this is a turn 3 Goldfish deck, but the turn you combo, you don't actually kill them most of the time. And sure, there's like double amulet draws where you literally kill them on 3, but those draws are kind of few and far between. Like, the amount of times you literally kill them on 3 are super rare. You put them dead on 4 on 3 a non-zero amount of the time. But, like, even this game's a great example, right? Like, my opponent here is not going to be literally dead on turn 3. I'm just going to have a Titan, and they'll be dead on my next turn. So, like, if they're playing a deck like Storm, for instance, they could kill me on their next turn when they're dead on my turn 4. Or, yeah, sometimes, that's true too. That's fair. Sometimes you can get disruption with the turn 3 Titan to make sure you don't die on 4. You have things like Bojuka Bog and Radiant Fountain and Ghost Quarter and stuff like that. So that's a fair comparison. There are a number of disruptive elements you can get. That is one of the small upsides. My opponent suspended Lotus Blooms, so they could still be an Amulet Titan deck. Some of the Amulet Titan decks have played Lotus Bloom, although I was kind of unimpressed with it when we did it. Statistically, I think they're ad nauseum. City of Brass heavily implies ad nauseum. So, Azusa, Amulet, Bounce Land makes 6 mana. Well, technically 4 more mana. With our land drop for the turn, it makes 6 mana. I have 1 more land drop. I was going to pick up the Gemstone Mine. And this is going to go get Boros Garrison plus Slayers Stronghold. So again, this is my 3rd turn. So we're getting some good stuff going on my 3rd turn. But again, just like there's just so many moving pieces in this combo, right? So like to turn 3, I had to have like this and this and this. And you do have 8 Titans, which is an upside towards like being able to do it somewhat consistently. No, ad nauseum is the name of a magic card. Is the key card in my opponent's combo deck. And then I think this is going to go get Tolaria West plus a bounce land here. And then I think we're going to go ahead and transmute the Tolaria West for a Pact of Negation. I have no idea what Bolos' Citadel does. Here's my hot take. Most cards that people think are going to be potentially playable in Modern aren't because they're too slow. I feel like every time spoiler season happens, people just like completely forget that Modern is this really fast and brutal format, and like they go off into this la land of like imagination and made up things. It's like nope, that's not how Modern works. Nope, that's not how Modern works. Nope, that's not how Modern works. Bolas' Citadel is a 6-mana artifact. Probably not Modern playable. What was the last recent card to really have a somewhat impact on Modern? It was Teferi, right? And Teferi's a 3-mana Planeswalker. Hayes, to answer your question earlier about 4-color, that'll put it into tomorrow. Because I'll be doing 4 decks today, which will be Abzan Angels, Grixis Pirates, Black Aggro, and Grixis Reanimator. So 4-color Vanafear for standard should be up tomorrow. Arclight Phoenix. Yeah, I forgot about Arclight. And Arclight's free, right? Like the reason why Arclight is good because it costs 0 mana. So I have Pact of Negation in hand. I have a Summoner's Pact here, which is going to let me cast another Titan and attack them next turn, which is nice. Do I want to get another Titan? Yeah, it's probably fine. I am not playing unestablished decks in Modern anymore. If you want me to play a deck that's not established in Modern, show up to a major tournament and post a topic with it. Alright, so we're going to pick the Tolaria West up. So my opponent could have a copy of the card Angel's Grace in their hand, which would allow them to not die this turn. And then they could have a Pact of Negation of their own to prevent us from killing them next turn. Yeah, can win on turn 3 is very different from reliably win on turn 3. It's very different from can win on turn 3 through multiple pieces of disruption. And speaking of disruption, I don't have any other disruption available to me here, right? Oh, I guess I can get enough bounce lands here to set up an engineered explosives on 3 for next turn, right? Is that reasonable? Because that's technically disruption, right? Oh, we can tutor for Ballista and kill them on their upkeep. That's a good idea, because it means they have to have double Angel's Grace in their hand. I like that idea. That's a good suggestion, thinking about what we can do with our toolbox. So we're going to have copious amounts of mana here, because both of these Titans are getting stiff. Just huge tracts of land. I don't need to Sunhome. I'm attacking for 14 and they're at 12. Can we hold enough lands to kill them with their own Lightning Storm? No, not likely. This is not Keenster's list. This is Daryl Ayer's deck list from a team open that had 3 relics in it. Yeah, to set a bar that's low, it's the most playable Kiki Chord style deck I've played recently. No, we don't want to wait for their first combo piece, because they might draw it for the turn. You can always find my deck list in the description of my videos. So if you go to my YouTube channel and pull up the Bio Angels video, you'll be able to find it there. Alright, sweet. So they didn't have another Angel's Grace. We got to kill them. So, like, they would have needed to have a lot of things to not die here, right? They needed Angel's Grace to beat this Walking Ballista, and then they needed to have a Pact of Negation plus an Ad Nauseam. So they would have needed a lot of things to go right for them there. Do not want Excavator, definitely want Reclamation Sage. Bojuka Bog doesn't have text in this matchup. This technically gets rid of artifacts and enchantments, right? I don't know if that's good enough. This is not a Hornet Queen matchup. Less is probably more when it comes to sideboarding here. I'm not going to cut all the engineered explosives ever again, but I think I'm going to go down to 1. Need 1 more cut here. I think boarding down to just 26 lands is probably not unreasonable. I also don't think trimming a Coalition Relic is terrible. Maybe that's the trim. You have Vesuva, a Scryland, do you Scry? You do. So Vesuva is like a clone effect. It enters the battlefield as the thing you're copying. So it has a replacement effect as it enters the battlefield choosing something. Good morning, Ozzy Pants. Alright, yeah, I think this is good. I think this is good. This hand's, like, really good with a bounce land, right? I'm on the draw. I'm gonna keep. our deck is like mostly lands. And by mostly, I mean half. Almost half. 26 out of 53 are lands at the moment. Oh no. We also have like 4 Ancient Stirrings too. Like Ancient Stirrings is basically a hit. Okay. Okay. I think I want to play this and just pass. I think I play this and just pass. Sweet. All right. We're so lucky. We're so lucky. Lucky, lucky, lucky. I think I'm just picking this back up. Then my opponent has Lotus Bloom on suspense. There's really nothing meaningful to there's really no meaningful reason to Rec Sage the Pentad Prism here. Just let this happen, save the negate for their payoff. Thoughtseize. Yikes. Alright, well. I guess their last 2 cards are Angel's Grace. Angel's Grace at Dausium. We're dead. Morning Flab. They just added Sparky as a way to play against the computer, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if we eventually get some kind of single player mode. Duels of the Planeswalker had a single player mode, right? No, Duels definitely had multiplayer. Can I change a deck submission from yesterday or the day before? Like, you already sent money with it? If you want to adjust something that's already in the deck queue that you sent in, send me an email from where I approved it from. You couldn't play, like, actual standard on it, because it had, like, you could only play, like, 1 mythic, 2 rares, 3 uncommons in your deck is, like, a weird rule. Man, if Arena got a single player mode, it might actually be able to take the title for best Magic video game ever made. That title still goes to Magic Battlegrounds, which is very, very obviously the best Magic video game ever made, Magic the Gathering Battlegrounds. Anybody who thinks the best Magic video game is Chandelar obviously hasn't played Battlegrounds. Kids these days don't know their history. Just get to whack the Raging Goblin in the face with your stick. Was Battlegrounds a PS1 game? I don't remember what platforms it was on. Yeah, Chandelar was first. That doesn't mean it was the best. This discussion wasn't about the first Magic video game. It's about the best Magic video game. I wonder if they have a Pact of Negation. I could have technically played around a Pact of Negation by putting the Vesuva in on Sanctuary. Yeah, they can add Nauseam here in response. Huh? I could have played around this. So they're digging for a Pact of Negation here. How low can you go? 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 Alright, so they have to Angel's Grace here, which is nice for us. They already had Pact of Negation. They already had Pact of Negation. Rude. No, I don't have 3 mana. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I would play a deck that I enjoy playing that feels powerful. I actually there's another streamer tournament next week for this fandom site, so I should probably find a standard deck that I want to play in that. Need to figure out which of the things that have felt like we've been winning with I want to play. How'd you end up on all foil angels? They draw ad nauseam for the turn? Seriously? They drew ad nauseam for the turn? What a tilt. Unlife? Are they just playing double unlife here? They're just playing double unlife. Deal. Alright, so I have to pay for a Summoner's Pack next turn, unfortunately. I could have played around what happened here. If I'd have done this, I could have left Tolaria West plus this Coalition Relic up, and then I could have negated their ad nauseam. So it's very possible I punted this game by not doing that. They put a card on top. And they put 2 on the bottom. They just tapped a cantrip. That makes sense. I forgot to put a thing on here. Originally, I wasn't going to because I wanted to hold Negate up, but then they tapped out, so it didn't matter. I definitely prefer the Vanasphere deck to this deck. I think it's a better combo deck. Well, now if I draw a bounce land, I'm good to go. Usually they have a Laboratory Maniac Punchworthy, and they also have a bunch of copies of Pact of Negation, so when they combo off, you can't just counter the Lightning Storm, because they're gonna counter your counters. Chalice on 3 is very good in this matchup. You're not wrong, because it stops Labman and Lightning Storm. Yep. It ain't a real game until Simian Spirit Guide comes to town. Beats by Dr. Ape. Now we play the waiting game. Hey, Ribbon. Thanks for the 11 months. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. We need Dovin's veto, right? I think Dovin's veto or take the place of Negates in all the decks that can play it. Yeah, probably in many of them. And I'm going to remember to do this time. It hasn't mattered so far, but I should technically be doing it. Would Moto be that different if WotC had an in-house from the start? I have no idea. I mean, I assume a lot of Magic Online issues are the fact that, like, it's an application that's had to be backwards compatible with infrastructure for, like, the last 2 decades almost. Now, I have 1 EE in my deck. They're at 2, though. Am I supposed to just go get EE? Maybe I am. So, someone asked why I wasn't transmuting to go get a Summoner's Pact. I guess, do I have enough to do that and still... Last turn I didn't have enough to do that and still hold up Negate, right? But I think I can do that now, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana. So the reason I was waiting is because I wanted to... Actually, I still don't have enough, right? I need 11. This is 6, 7. This is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I need 3 plus 2 plus 6 is 11 mana total. I do have Pact of Negation, that's true. Alright, YOLO. I just don't know that, like, I'm supposed to push here. Because, like, I feel like I can't lose with Pact and Negate up. Oh, that's true. I actually wasn't thinking about the fact that the EE... that the EE for 3 killed these two. I guess that is really good. Yeah, maybe I am just supposed to EE there. And actually, if I EE here, that's only 5 mana, right? So it'd be 3, 5, and 2. So if I went for the Engineered Explosives line, I would be able to play it, crack it, and have Negate and Pact of Negation up. Yeah, so I'm pretty confident I messed up here. I should have gotten Engineered Explosives. Alright, so this is going to get Slayers Stronghold plus Boros Garrison. Nope, you can just donate for that. Just kind of a fine one to re-add. That was great. Toxic, thank you very much for the Prime support. Hope you're having a fantastic Thursday wherever you're at. They're actually dead if they don't have Angel's Grace, right? If their one unknown card is an Angel's Grace, because the way Double Strike works. I think I just try and kill them here, huh? Oh, I don't have a Vesuva, but I can get Selesnya Sanctuary because I have a Gemstone Mine up. That's fine. I can also pick Vesuva up and then put it into play with my Tribe Scouts. Man, this deck takes a while to click through on this application. We've been live for an hour and 5 minutes, and we're almost at the end of the second match. Alright, well, they're dead. So this trample puts them to a negative number, and then the second strike gives them 10 infect. Thanks, Tireless. I appreciate the support. And all modern day. No, I don't play... I've been playing modern decks with the same rules we play standard decks, which is a minimum of 2 matches, and if they go an exceptionally long time, we don't play. We don't play 5 matches with them. So, if we have a third match that's extra long here, we'll just only play 3 matches with this. How would the auto tapper do here? God, probably not well, to be fair. There's just so many utility lands in this deck. No, this is the third match we're going into. So normally, most modern leagues are almost done by now. So yeah, we'll probably just play one more, then move along to some standard. This deck just takes a long time. Yeah, Chameleon Colossus is interesting. I'm assuming this is a response to Death Shadow being particularly popular again at the moment. It seems fine. It's got double ramp in it. This is kind of double ramp in and of itself. If we find a third untapped land, we actually get to play Relic on turn 2. Chameleon Colossus is good into Dredge. Why is it good against Dredge? Can you explain? I don't see it. In my experience, Storm tends to be a hard matchup for this deck, just because Storm is one of the decks where when you put them figuratively dead on, when you put them dead on board on turn 4, they can untap and kill you on 3. You can run this application on OS X the same way I run it on Linux. So I am streaming from a Unix computer now. It's possible I'm supposed to hold on to this, but at the same time, I do just want to, like, get my Relic into play and, like, get my Titan down ASAP. I'm like, this thing's gonna flip over and just send it back to my hand at some point. It's like, eh. What Linux distro do I use? Ubuntu 18.04. I like Linux, but I also don't like making my life extra hard. Ubuntu's got the most desktop support. Using 18.04 with an XFCE desktop at the moment. Alright, I tell you what. I'm gonna put a mana on here. You let me know if I'm dead. You just raise your hand if you're going to deal 20 this turn, okay? Oh, no hard feelings either way. I missed it, pizza. I'm putting it in there now. For people who are new to Modern, this was my opponent's. My opponent's third turn was attack with a 7-8 and 2-3-2s. We're dead, right? Just nothing I can do. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 mana. I also miss Twin. This is our fault. We should have killed them on turn 4. Yep, I agree. I assume these are good here. Hornet Queen does not seem good. Walking Ballista does not seem good. Ghost Quarter is not necessary. Alright, let's do it. I agree with that heavy-hearted statement, Brian. That was when Modern started pitching off a cliff for me. Oh, the banning of Twin. I actually fully agree with that too. At the time, I was like, yeah, banning Splinter Twin is fine and makes sense. And then, like, the resulting fallout was like, oh no, we've made a terrible mistake. The Twin Kiki Court matchup was really sweet. It had a lot of play to it. Ton of back and forth. Maybe should have waited to play the land. I didn't have a land to put into play that turn, Mank. You mean I should have held my Bojuka Bog a turn and, like, assumed they were going to have 2 Phoenixes and, like, played super scared? I disagree with that. Believe it or not, your opponent doesn't always have it. So, like, I get it. It feels bad when they do have it and you die. But, like, they don't always have it. So, like, putting myself back multiple turns when the thing in the ice is guaranteed flipping doesn't make sense. I need to cast my spells, and so I can try and beat the thing in the ice, not play scared of a couple of Phoenixes. You want EE and Queens, I'd trim Scouts. You want me to just become slower? I guess. This is such a terrible control deck, though. Well, that's the thing, I guess. Are you missing a land? Rats. Raymile, thank you for the 7 months. Hope you're having a fantastic Thursday. Your draws are playing around Blood Moon. Oh shoot, this is a Blood Moon matchup, isn't it? I forgot to board in my Rec Sage, so I'm glad we drew a bunch of basic forests. They ditched a Phoenix with that Scour. They fetched another basic island, so unsurprisingly, usually these Phoenix decks have 2 moons in the sideboard. Nice, Stauber. It's funny. I remember the last exam I had to take in grad school. I had like a B in the class going into it, and I needed like a 96% on the final to pull my B up to an A, but I needed like a 60% to keep my B, and I just like in 20 minutes had like 70% of the questions done, and I knew they were right, and it was just like, nah, screw it, I'm not sitting here trying to think about the other ones. Have this back. I'll take my B, goodbye. Think I'm supposed to path my own dude? I don't know, I kind of want to path the Phoenix. If I path my own dude, it gets blown out by a gut shot, but if they don't have the gut shot, I get to put a Titan into play. Didn't matter, they have a Dispel. This will depend on how much further disruption they have. A lot of times they only have a couple of counter spells in their sideboard. You got me. Yeah, the list felt really good to Mox. Felt like it had a good mix of stuff. Alright, I have a 6/6, you have a Blood Moon. I do not have a Hornet Queen in my deck. You can find the Just Guy control list on my website and my YouTube channel from yesterday. Also find it on my Stream Decker page. It was the fourth deck we played yesterday. It was the deck of the day as well. One of the two that I picked. So I tweeted it last night also. Well, we are technically winning the race, I suppose. Relic also lets us play like Path to Exile through Blood Moon, which is sweet. Alright, so they're Snap Bolting me, which puts me to 8, so I'm dead to another Lightning Bolt here. Also dead to them flooping another Phoenix into play. More importantly, I'm no longer winning the race, so I think we're just dead here. If I had a Queen in my deck to draw to, we could have that as an out. Yeah. Alright, let's play one more. I feel like the last time we played this deck, it was kind of underwhelming too. This is one of those decks that's always felt like it kind of preyed upon the blue-white controls and the green-black rocks of the format, and this deck just doesn't feel like it races super consistently. It's like trying to be less linear, more interactive than a lot of the other good fast decks in the format. I'm not really sure that that's a place I want to be in life. I have to draw more amulets. Yeah, I mean, like, this deck just doesn't do anything. Like, if you... The speed at which this deck wins the game when you don't have Amulet of Vigor is embarrassing. Like, just in relation to the speed of other decks in Modern that are good, if you don't have an Amulet of Vigor, this deck is embarrassingly slow. Daryl Ayers played 3 copies of Relic. This is card for card his deck list from a team open. So probably lose Summoner's Pact here since both Relic and Azusa ramp me. Relic is supposed to help that. Not really. So like Relic, if you don't have an amulet, you like put Relic into play on turn 2, an ideal case scenario after a Tribe Scout, and then like it enables a turn 3 cast Titan but not attack with it. It's still incredibly slow. Sure, but Titan, this is modern. Titan on turn 4 is not game winning in a lot of situations. But again, like, okay, so people are talking about Trinket Mage. That's something that's been done too that they then moved away from. Think about how fast it is to play Trinket Mage and get your Amulet of Vigor, and then think about what happens in Modern. That's embarrassingly slow. Like, yeah, there's plenty of ways you can add redundancy to these decks. The key to being good in Modern isn't just being redundant, it's being redundant and being fast. That's the key. That's what you're looking to be able to do. I would like to attack you for 3. What do you think about this list versus the Amulet Breach list? I like the Breach version, but the people who play this deck a lot don't play it, so it's probably bad. You got me. If you told me we were going to run into Esper Fair cards in the 1-2 bracket, I'd be like, yep, sounds right. Never heard of Esper and Miss Land Drops, right? Some things transcend formats. Some things transcend formats. Alright, waiting on a Titan. We have like 11 copies of them. We're not playing the last match regardless, Captain Magar. So, win or lose, this is the last match of this league. I'm not playing all 5 anymore, even if our record's okay. I'm putting them on a time limit. So people who submit slow decks are not getting extra value for their money. You get like, you know, hour 45 at most. Nice, Skittle. Yeah, I think I gotta blow this up to take care of those. Oh, they're a shadow deck. Okay. Interesting. Esper Shadow's like hipster Shadow, Marty. Morning, Mr. Maple Syrup. All right. One Titan, please. Well, if they don't have a removal spell, we're not dead. We got that going for us. But they also haven't had a chance to play a removal spell yet, so I assume they have one. Survey says... oh, wait. This is only 5. Yeah, we're going to 1. All right. All right. No whammy. No whammy. Come on. Come on. Poppy needs a Titan. One of your finest Titans, please. Need to put some counters on these before we pass our turn. I don't even know if a Titan's enough to get us out of this situation at this point. Wait, did they just not attack me? We drew a bunch of lands and we died. We drew a bunch of lands and we died. This is where the magic happens. Yep. Ain't that the truth? Alright, go down to 27 lands. This is not a Pact of Negation matchup. Probably trim Sakura-Tribe Scout. Bring in the path. The paths. Chameleon Colossus seems good too. Let's do it. Nah, I think I'd rather cut the Tribe Scouts than the Azuzas. Tribe Scout just like eats a push before it does anything a lot of the time. Azusa can often make a couple land drops before she eats it. Sounds good, Jojo. And I'm doing tokens tomorrow for you, Jojo, just as a heads up. I did not forget. I'm glad you were here because I almost forgot. I guess. This is a good one to draw for them to not know about. I feel bad sharing this because I'm cheating on Jif, but Skippy Peanut Butter makes these peanut butter bite things. They're actually pretty good. It's like portable peanut butter. I'm just going to take this as a blocker. I'm going to go ahead and path this now. This gives them the land untapped on their next turn. Except this doesn't give them the chance to stubborn denial my path, which is ideal. They tap 2 lands for their spell. We should be able to EE it for 2, right? That's exactly how that works. All right, and they knew about this explosives. So there's a good chance they like have another threat here. But I definitely want to just 1-for-1 this with the Shadow, I think. Keep my health total high. And actually, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait to blow this up until the end of turn. So this way, if my opponent has a second Death Shadow, they don't get to play it out this turn. So I'm using my health total as a bit of a resource here. Hey, happy birthday, Mr. Maple Syrup. Hope you have a fantastic one. Good morning, Lily. And you're fine, Immortals. I apologize for my insolence. Thanks for being a good sport, Nivik. Alright, I think I want to go get some blue sources here. So this way I can transmute this other Tolaria West next turn. I am going to have to pay for Pact. But in a pretty good spot here at the moment. And this is, I mentioned this deck really kind of preys on fair decks. This is one of the reasons why, right? Like, even if they work through my Titans with removal, every Titan gets a Tolaria West to find another Titan. And it's just endless, basically. To play around Damping Sphere. That's an interesting suggestion. Alright, so I have 8-9 mana. So I think I'm actually going to put this Garden into play. And I'm not going to transmute the Tolaria West this turn. And the reason why I want to wait to transmute the Tolaria West is because my opponent cannot Inquisition or Thoughtseize Tolaria West, but they can Inquisition or Thoughtseize Summoner's Pact if I go get that with the Tolaria West. So play around a discard spell a little bit by waiting. That's great, Immortal. One Titan, please. So this Titan goes and gets a Tolaria West and a bounce land. I'll snap path, yep. And then at this point, I have enough mana where I can pay for Pact, transmute, and cast Titan all in the same turn, which is great. Opponent's playing Esper Death Shadow. We have 0/1 plant tokens, courtesy of Khalni Garden. Excuse me. That's a Street Wraith, yep. Alright, that'll be fun for later. Transmute for your Avenger of Zendikar. Alright, and this next one is my last Tolaria West here. So, we are running low on Squadron Titans. Thankfully, we did draw another additional threat in the form of Walking Ballista, which is nice. Now go get Tolaria East. Ba-dum-tsh. Yeah, Ballista's very quickly going to be lethal. So I have to pay for this pact. So it says 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Tolaria West. Tolaria West. It's our land. If it can't do it, no one can. I'm going to go to Hornet Queen. Do 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 do. So we have 8, 14, 15, 16, 17. I have 18 mana. So we are 2 land drops away from having 20 mana, which can then play the Walking Ballista for lethal directly. We're all, thanks for the 25 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Morning, Davis. You are catching us right at the tail end here. It is early on the left coast. It's our last match of the morning. We're in game 2 and we're down a game, so we might have one more after this. We pathing me? Or are we Serum Visioning? We're pathing an insect, alright. Yeah, I agree. Chances of Disdainful Stroke are low. If they have Ceremonious Reduction, that might be a card they board in here. That's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So this is lethal, right? With these attacking. Colorless fireballs, colorless fireballs, colorless fireballs. Alright, one more game here. See if we can wrap the league up 2-2, or if we have to hang our head in a 1-3 shame. Auto tapper win, right? Please, please tap my lands for me, please. I'm excited to play Abzan Angels first in Standard today, because I'm pretty sure that deck's unbeatable, because everybody knows Magic's pay to win. Yeah, Abzan Angels is the fully foil deck. 75 BEA beautiful cards. There are no basic lands in it, Matt Maxon. It is 100% foil. Why would there be non-foil plebeian basics in my all-foil deck? The deck wouldn't be pay to win good if there were plebeian non-foil basics in it. Jarps! Thank you for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Hope you're having a great Thursday. Hey, look, my opponent's attacking with an 8/8 on turn 3 that they paid 1 mana for. Yay, Modern! Yay! Oh, look, and now they're casting a 1 mana 4/5. So my opponent has 12 power in play, and they spent a grand total of 2 mana to get it there. Yay! There's 24 lands, Marty. There's 24 lands and a bunch of explore creatures, thanks. Alright, kill me. I actually have no outs, right? Because I only have 5 mana. I could draw Path to Exile next turn. I could chump the Shadow and draw Path to Exile. And then I'm not strictly dead. I could draw running paths. Nope, just dead. The more I play this deck, the more I become convinced that this deck is literally Kiki Chord. This deck is kind of a low power level, but it wins matches because it's kind of weird and confusing for people to play against, and people don't really know how to react to it. You have some draws that are just like really, really good and run people over, but you have a lot of other draws that are like really middling. I don't really have any thoughts on this card specifically, but yeah, I don't know. This deck just has so many draws where you just like flood out and die, and like your draws where you don't have Amulet of Vigor are like embarrassingly slow for Modern. So I think there's a good chance that maybe I'm not mulliganing aggressively enough, but like at the same time, you can't really be mulliganing super aggressively against decks that are full of discard spells. So like that's also like something to consider. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to some video games, shall we?